haven't you heard? The new bishop is coming to give a lecture to the local Heritage Society. I understand he's very young.
No, I haven't heard, Mrs. Judd Skeffington. Had you, Vera?
No. Oh, well, I like to keep my ear to the ground, you know. Keep up with all the local...
Gossip?
News, Mrs. Prescott, news.
Of course.
So somebody will have to give a reception for the bishop before his lecture.
I suppose so.
Oh, well, I've given so many parties in my time that one more or less won't matter. Do you know, the parties that the late Mr. Judd Skeffington and I used to give were a byword.
What for?
So I suppose I shall just have to gird my loins and sort out something for the dear bishop. After all, there's no one locally who has the right sort of social background to do it with any kind of aplomb.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that, Mrs. Judd Skeffington. Vera and I are well known for our aplomb, aren't we, Vera?
Oh, yes. Are we?
So we'll be happy to organise a reception for the bishop, won't we, Vera?
Will we, Eleanor?
It'll have to be done the right way, you know.
Oh, I can assure you it will be done the right way.
I mean, you would, for example, be using outside caterers, wouldn't you?
What? Oh, I'm surprised you even have to ask.
Well, if you are sure that you can manage.
Of course we can manage.
So sorry to interrupt, ladies. There's a telephone call for you, Mrs. Judd Skeffington.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Henderson. You will excuse me. Probably my broker.
I wonder what she's had to pawn this time.
Sorry.
Oh, never mind, Vera. Goodness, that woman's dreadful.
Well, you don't have to tell me. I live here with her. But it's very generous of you to say you'll do this reception, Eleanor. It won't be cheap.
No, the money's neither here nor there, Vera.
And I thought you didn't have any money, Eleanor.
Well, no, I don't.
So how will you pay for it?
Look, Vera, we're going to do this together, aren't we?
Yes.
So it's simple, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, I do all the organisation for the reception and you do all the paying. That seems a fair division of labour, doesn't it?
Oh, yes. Does it?
Oh, Mummy. Clare, weren't you at work?
Could ask you the same question.
I asked it first.
Right. Russell didn't want this lot clattering up the shop, so I'm sorting out the decent stuff here and we'll take the rest to jumble.
I'm exhausted.
What about you?
Me?
Why aren't you at work?
Oh, well, I had some leave earnings, so I thought if I took the day off and just lazed around,
It wasn't just that you wanted to be around in case this wonderful man, Edward, you met at the party phoned.
No, of course not.
Oh, could you shut the door, love? There's a draft.
But if I do that, I won't be able to hear my telephone.
Uh-huh, I see.
Oh, why doesn't he ring?
You did give him your telephone number, did you?
No.
Well, that could possibly be a reason.
I didn't give it to him because I didn't want it to look as if I was throwing myself at him.
There you are.
Oh, given the chance, I'd be shot at him as a human cannonball, Louise. Scrummy, Mummy.
Scrummy? Well, look, you only met him last night. Give the poor lad a chance to look you up in the phone book.
Oh, he doesn't need to do that. He's got my number.
I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. I thought you said you didn't give him your number.
No, I didn't, but as I was leaving the party, I wrote it down for Sophie.
Sophie? Well, Sophie rings you about 15 times a day. She knows your number.
I know. Look, what I did was I wrote it down and put it on the table just near where Edward was. Then I said to Sophie, Sophie, I've written my phone number down for you. And she said, oh, but I've got it, Clare. And I said, oh, of course you have. And then I went.
Cunningly omitting to pick up the piece of paper.
Yes.
Gosh, you're subtle, Claire. I think you get that from your grandmother.
Thanks.
Along with the inability to recognise irony. Never mind. Oh, incidentally, did you make up your mind whether you were going to that party Sophie was talking about, you know, at the end of the month?
Mummy, it's a Vickers and Tarts party.
So?
I wouldn't go to something as tacky and as sexist as that. Dressing up in short skirts and suspenders. Oh, come on, I do have my standards.
Oh, yes, fine. Sorry I mentioned it.
Oh, I am knackered. Oh, this is so comfy. I don't think anything in the world could make me move from here.
That's my girl.
Yes, thank you. And you're sure the date's firmly in the book? Friday the 28th? Good. And I'll get back to you as soon as I receive the menus. Goodbye. We have a caterer, Vera.
Oh, thank goodness.
I didn't realise they all get so booked up at this time of the year. Friday the 28th was the only date they had free this month.
That was fortunate. It was Friday the 28th, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't the Thursday.
Vera, you took all the details from Mrs. Judd Skeffington.
Oh, yes, of course I did.
So even you must have got the date right, mustn't you?
Oh, yes, of course I must. Incidentally, Eleanor, are you going to ask Sarah to help you out with this party?
No, of course I'm not, Vera. Do you imagine I can't do anything without my daughter's help? I'm having professional caterers after all, and I'll just get additional help as required.
As required?
Yes, like now, I require your help.
Oh.
I'm putting you in charge of the invitations.
Oh, thank you, Eleanor. Do you mean I can make up a list of everybody I want to come?
No, of course you can't, Vera. I'll do that. You can get the invitations printed and posted.
Oh.
Now, I've made a sort of provisional guest list. It comes to about 40.
40? In here?
Yes, it will be rather a squash, won't it?
Oh, dear, if only you had a bigger room.
Yes. If only I had.
So, your daughter is in love, is she?
That's the way it seems.
Wonderful. Have they known each other long?
As far as I can tell, the total time she and Edward have spent together so far is 6.5 minutes.
Well, I hope he'll do the decent thing and marry her.
We'll see. What matters more at this point is that he's done the decent thing and rung her up.
Ah.
Inviting her out with him tonight.
Splendid.
So I think it's probably just as well that Clare's taken the day off work.
Yeah?
Not to get dressed up for this evening.
Ah, is he taking her somewhere formal?
Oh, good heavens, no. As any woman will tell you, Russell, formal dress is pretty straightforward. It's looking carelessly casual that takes the time.
Bygone books. Oh, good afternoon, Eleanor. And the same to you. Yes, she is.
Hello, Mother.
Hello, Sarah, dear. I have a surprise for you.
Oh, yes.
What on earth makes you sound so suspicious when I say I have a surprise?
Bitter experience, Mother.
I can't think why. Anyway, it's not really a surprise. It's a treat.
Oh, yes.
Well, you sound equally suspicious about a treat.
Same reason. Just tell me what it is, Mother.
Very well, dear. I've bought you some theatre tickets.
Oh.
For that new production of King Lear at the Barbican.
Oh. But I want to see that.
Well, stop sounding so surprised, Sarah. I know you want to see it. That's why I bought you the tickets.
Oh. Oh, well, thank you.
2 tickets for you and a friend of your choice.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Thank you is quite sufficient.
But I'm not used to you suddenly giving me something like that.
Then just accept it gracefully and stop sounding so suspicious. Really, Sarah, don't you think I'm capable of a gesture of spontaneous generosity without any ulterior motive?
Well, when are the tickets for?
Friday the 28th. Now, I must go, dear. Goodbye.
Russell? Would you like to go and see that King Lear?
Oh, at the Barbican.
Yes. Mother's just bought me 2 tickets for Friday the 28th for me and a friend of my choice.
Well, I'd love to see it. Thank you for making me your choice.
Not at all.
That's very sweet of her.
Yes.
I mean, it's not often that Eleanor gives you something for nothing, is it?
No. No, in fact, it's never. What on earth do you think she's up to this time? What do you mean my address is on the invitation? What invitation? I'm sorry, I think you've got the wrong number. Goodbye. Some caterers about some party that's supposed to be happening here on Friday the 28th. Quite mad. Anyway, love, how are you?
Great.
Edward's still scrummy.
Scrummier than ever.
Good.
He's coming round for a meal tonight. Could I borrow your wine cooler?
Yes, in the dining room. Help yourself.
Thanks.
You're trying to impress him?
Don't need to do that. He already is impressed.
Oh, such confidence.
Yes, and tonight we're going to work out what we're going to wear to this Vickers and Tarts party at the end of the month.
What? I thought you thought Vickers and Tarts parties were tacky and sexist.
Mummy, I don't know where you got that idea from.
You grow more like your grandmother with every passing day, Clare. Morning, Vera.
Good morning. I don't believe you've met Mrs. Judd Skeffington.
No, hello.
This is Sarah, Eleanor Prescott's daughter.
Oh, yes. I didn't know you lived locally.
I'm sorry?
Well, I've been to Mrs. Prescott's house. Lovely large place, isn't it? And I've seen the sitting room where the party is going to take place. And I wondered where you lived.
What? What is this, Vera?
Didn't Eleanor mention anything to you, Sarah?
No, never mentioned anything about anything.
Oh, I assumed. You see, I've been so tied up organising the invitations.
In fact, I organised the invitations. I sent all the details to the printers and I posted them.
Yes. I thought Eleanor would have...
Nice-looking invitation, don't you think?
Yes, possibly. What I
Well,
want to know
I
is...
must go. We've got a Labrador Society committee meeting, you know. Can I trust you to buy a nice book for the bishop, Vera?
What? Oh, yes.
Oh, goodbye.
Vera, am I to understand that Mother is setting up a party in my sitting room without telling me?
Well, to some extent.
To what extent?
Well, sort of to complete extent, really.
Oh!
How is it I can always tell when Eleanor's done something to annoy you, Sarah?
Mother!
Morning, Vera.
Suddenly I know why caterers keep ringing me up about Friday the 28th.
What?
But there won't be any problems, Sarah. Everything will be tidied up by the time you get back from the theatre.
Oh, will it just? Mother, where are you?
One small point.
What?
We're going to the theatre on Friday the 28th. The caterers you mentioned are apparently organised for Friday the 28th.
Yes?
But this invitation to meet the bishop at your address is for Thursday the 27th.
What? Oh, dear.
Well, yes, dear, No, Sarah, I know I shouldn't have, but... Well, I was intending to tell you, but...
Anyway, to sum up, Mother, what you have done is quite unforgivable, and if you ever do anything like that again, our relationship is at an end.
Well, would it help if I were to say I'm sorry?
No, but at least it'd be a novelty.
So, it seems Mrs. Judd Skeffington was right.
What?
She said there was no one else locally except for her who could organise this kind of reception properly.
Oh, did she?
So someone had better get on the phone to everyone who was invited and tell them it's off. Oh, dear, it's so unpleasant to have to eat humble pie.
Well, I'm not sure you have to do that, Mother.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of me doing it. No, Vera can do the ringing round. She eats humble pie so much better than I do.
Only because she's had more practice.
What?
Listen, Mother, hold your horses. This party is going ahead on the date, on the invitation.
But how? I mean, all the local caterers are booked up and...
Don't worry about that. I will sort it out.
You will?
I'm not going to let any member of my family be upstaged by the likes of Mrs. Judd Skeffington.
Well, I don't know what to say.
Thank you is quite sufficient.
Thank you, Sarah, dear.
Right. I must go now, and I'll see you later.
Yes, dear, but I would just like to say something.
What?
That I'm very fortunate in having such a kind and caring daughter to help a silly old woman out of the scrape she gets herself into. And may I be struck dumb if a word of criticism of you ever passes my lips again.
What?
Goodbye, Sarah, dear.
Why is it, Russell, that one never has a tape recorder running when one really needs it? Oh, never mind.
So I gather that you have now lumbered yourself with organising a reception for the local Heritage Society.
Yes.
I see.
Russell, what would you say if I were to ask you an enormous favour, something that goes far beyond normal demands and probably qualifies as an imposition on your friendship?
I'd say, what again?
See you at at 7, Edward.
Ah, but will you recognise the vicar to end all vicars?
Will you recognise the tart to end all tarts?
I'd recognise you anywhere.
Love you.
Love you too.
Gosh, this looks wonderful. Hands off! This looks great too.
Good.
Actually, Mummy, the reason I dropped in was to see if I could check through some of your lipsticks.
Help yourself.
Thought some of yours might be a bit tartier than mine.
Thank you very much, Claire.
Sorry, I didn't mean...
No, don't apologise. When you get to my age, I think what you've just said is probably a compliment.
This really does all look great.
Well, it should do. I am determined that Mrs. Judd Skeffington is coming to the poshest party she's ever seen. The O'Shaughnessy twins are coming at 6.
And Shaughnessy twins, they're the best waitresses for miles.
You bet. Money, no object.
Oh, this is all costing you.
Sorry, should have said Vera Polling's money, no object. Now, don't peek. That's the rest of the staff.
You rang, madam?
Or couldn't we just go up and see how things are getting on?
Vera, do you know what Sarah said she'd do to us if either you or I appeared upstairs before 6:25?
No.
She said she... Come here, I'll whisper it.
Oh. Well, there's no rush, is there?
Mr. Henderson, I said to meet me here at 6 o'clock.
Oh, it's only 2 minutes past.
Yes, well, it's a bad start to what will undoubtedly be a very bad evening. I mean, you came to my last party.
Yes.
So you'll have some grounds for comparison. You at least know what a really well-organised party should be like. I'm sure you remember the occasion. I had the best wines, a perfect finger buffet, and a lively mix of people.
And waitresses who looked like all-in wrestlers.
What was that, Mr. Henderson?
Oh, nothing, Mrs. Judd Skeffington, nothing.
Goodness. Where did I go wrong as a parent?
You don't think it's too revealing?
Well, I thought the whole point was that it was meant to be too revealing.
Yes, but... Well, I mean, it's not as if I'll be the only one looking like this. Sophie's got the identical costume.
Don't worry, you look great. Edward's a lucky man, don't you think so, Russell?
Not sure that I'm really the best person to judge, but it seems to me that you look entirely appropriate, Claire.
Thank you, Russell.
Just like something out of Penthouse.
I think we've done everything. All organised, nothing to go wrong. Hello? Oh, yes, hello. What? Oh, no, you must. Of course you must. Don't worry. No problem. Hope she's all right. Goodbye. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon.
What?
Saying nothing could go wrong. The O'Shaughnessy twins' mother has just been arrested for being drunk and disorderly. They're down at the police station trying to bail her out.
But, Mummy, where on earth are you going to find 2 waitresses at this notice?
Claire, you did say Sophie had the identical costume to you, didn't you? Sweetheart, no, listen to Mummy, please, Mum, please, darling.
And, of course, at the parties Mr. Judd Skeffington and I used to give, we always used to supply some little tidbit for the gossip columns.
Really?
Thank you. Oh, yes. Do you know, it was after one of our parties that the Duke of Lominster ran off with the Baroness von Steinberg. Must have been something in the atmosphere.
Or something in the drink.
Right, Mr. Henderson, are you ready for our evening slumming?
Good evening. Do come in and let me take your coats.
Everything seems to be going swimmingly, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, it does.
A little more champagne, thank you, Brand.
Of course, Mrs. Prescott.
Such a treasure, Brand. I assume you and Mr. Judd Skeffington always had a resident butler, as I do.
Excuse me.
What's the matter, Vera?
Don't push your luck, Eleanor.
I can't help noticing that the dear bishop isn't here. I do hope somebody remembered to invite him.
Oh, dear, he wasn't on the invitation list. Wouldn't it be dreadful if...
Of course someone did. I wrote to him personally and had a very charming letter of acceptance.
Oh.
And surely when you and Mr. Judd Skeffington gave parties, you knew it was bad form for the guest of honor to arrive too early.
Well,
Good heavens. I'd have thought that anyone, even with the most rudimentary knowledge of protocol, would have known that, wouldn't you, Vera?
Certainly, Eleanor.
if you'll excuse me.
Wonderful do, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I am forced to admit it is almost as good as one of my parties.
Rather better, I'd say.
Still nothing here that will set the gossip columns afire, though, is there?
Who cares about that?
Excuse me. Are you responsible for the catering at this function?
Yes, madam.
Oh, it's good. It's very good. It's excellent.
Thank you, madam.
You look familiar. Have we met somewhere before?
I don't think so, madam.
Oh, well, perhaps I've attended some other function at which you've done the catering.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so, madam. We do tend only to work for a rather select clientele.
Well, it's a splendid occasion, isn't it, Vera? I think we should do this more often, don't you?
No, Mother.
I'm sorry. I tried Clare's bell, but...
Ah, Bishop!
What?
Now, Bishop, what would you like?
Well, all I'm really looking for is a certain tasty little tart.
Well, I know there are some very nice vol au vents.
You sexy little beast!
You old devil!
Looks as if this party's even got something for the gossip columns, too. Doesn't it, Mrs. Judd Skeffington?
Oh.